We're at Holly & Smith in downtown Hammond, which is literally one of the region's top architectural firms, with one of the founders, of course. He's Michael Holly, and your whole firm is celebrating, can it be really true, 40 years in business?
That's right, Ken, 40 years. It's been a long time. Actually, it seems like just yesterday that we got started in 1980. Humble beginnings, but here we are today. 27 total staff, 2 offices, and based in Tangipahoa Parish. Proud to be here.
So when you display the buildings that you've designed across the state, it's an incredible list. It's some of the biggest and best of the best all over.
Great opportunities bring themselves from great work, and we're proud of the work we've done and the buildings that we've been involved in, all the way from very small little houses in the beginning to buildings as large as $73 million in the last 10 years.
Well, give us some examples of what you think are the biggest and best that you've built.
The Claiborne office building in Baton Rouge and the Capitol campus, as well as the Iberville building, the Loyola Monroe Hall project, which was a very complicated project that we did in New Orleans post-Katrina. Various other very large projects in Tangipahoa Parish, a lot of school work. That's where we got our start. We're really appreciative of the Tangipahoa Parish School Board and keeping it local. And we now have an expertise in that aspect of work, and then all the work at Southeastern. Some 7 major buildings on the campus, the 8th of which we're doing right now, which was a renovation of D. Vickers Hall.
Well, let me bring up what must be a sore subject in your line of work. You can now get just about any kind of a building basically either prefabbed, I mean it comes in boxes literally, or you can go online and just get what amounts to a schematic, the plans for a building without even using an architect. What do you think?
That's not a sore subject. People can do that anytime, anyway, could do it long ago. The most important thing is how is it being used? What's the quality of life? How does that fit in to somebody's day-to-day perception of reality? Our job is to bring a better quality of life into the community, and that's what our stake is in this game.
Well, plus there's such a thing as functionality. When you design a building, you take a million little details into account, and if that's not done throughout the process, you can have all kinds of design flaws in a building.
Simply said, it's got to work. It's got to work. It's got to work from a design perspective. It's got to work from a construction perspective, and it's all very important.
And what about the topography that comes into play? For example, you built the new elementary school in Kentwood, which is a gorgeous building, but there's lots of rolling land up there, and you have to just take that into consideration. It's a lot different than building something in Ponchatoula.
That's right. Well, it's all a matter of making it fit well and making it orient itself well, and have proper solar orientation and making sure that the energy expenditure is not huge.
So how could you do a work like, and look, the projects you've done in the whole region, the whole state and beyond, I mean, it's just quite a list. How can you do that from Hammond, Louisiana, and you were doing it before the internet age? Opportunity
and a great deal of help from a team of architects. It's not just me, it's not just Jeffrey Smith, it's the entire group of people that we have been able to gather together as a team. And that's been exhibited by the work we've been able to get. And we are recognized regionally.
So with 27 employees, and I suspect that most, if not all of them, are professionals, that's a heck of a payroll in Hammond.
It certainly is, and it brings a lot to the table in terms of economic development and just quality of life, and having those kinds of talent involved in a community. We not only do work as we do, but we also volunteer. We have members of our team who have been part of the Downtown Development District, the Hammond Historic District Commission, and we've been actively involved, and all of that is pure volunteer work.
So what about the parish itself, the city? This as a pro-business place, and our leaders have always strived to have that image and that reality. How would you compare being in business in Hammond with, say, for example, New Orleans or any place else?
Well, it's just a really close-knit community, and that's sort of a neat thing. I live 4 blocks away from here, and so I could literally walk to work if I didn't have to drive to Baton Rouge or New Orleans. So that in itself creates sort of a family atmosphere. And I think Jeffrey Smith would probably talk a lot more about how that aspect of things is important to how we work within the community.
Would you say, though, that, for example, we have Robbie Miller, we have Pete Penapinto, this current crop of officials, but before them, their predecessors were also pro-business, going back quite a ways. Help me explain why that makes such a big difference in the economy of the area.
Well, it's important as it relates to growth. And if you think back 40 years, where Hammond was 40 years ago and where it is today, it's like day and night. And it's amazing. And without that support from those pro-business politicians, we wouldn't be there.
So let's go back to square one and ask a layman's question. What does an architectural firm do on a day-to-day basis that you would have 27 employees? What happens here?
Construction documents, design work, idea making, unique approaches to solutions that are placed in front of us. We offer very creative work, but we also have to tie it to the very technical and the very real.
So you deal with both the public and the private sector in all kinds of ways.
That's right, we do.
What advice would you give then to our parish government, our city government, the parish as a whole, as to how we can get more Medline projects, more economic development, the right kind of growth?
I think that they're on the right track. Medline is an important piece of the game. I think the advice would be to continue in that regard. I think that quality of life is important. A lot of people who come to Hammond in specific come here because of the quality of life. They come here because of the university. They come here because of North Oaks Hospital and the hospital center that it is. And but I think downtown Hammond has a unique, and Ponchatoula for that matter, has a unique draw to individuals who want to live a simpler life.
So I had a conversation with a state legislator one time, and he was also an architect. You might know even who I'm speaking of because his district came into Tangipahoa, and he gave me about 36 unique things about downtown Hammond from an architectural perspective that would be almost impossible to duplicate, and if you could duplicate them, they would not be organic. And he said, you people don't know the gem you have in downtown Hammond. It's very unique.
You're absolutely right, and you would be amazed at people who come from outside the community and drive in for the first time and say, wow, I can't believe what I've just driven through. And a lot of us take it for granted, but a lot of the community beyond us realize the special jewel that it is.
Would you say the same about Ponchatoula, maybe in a different way?
Absolutely, absolutely, the same circumstance. You only have one opportunity to make a first impression.
So how do we capitalize on that? I mean, you have a functioning Amtrak station. Who has that anymore? We have a mix of retail and offices and residences and restaurants and all kinds of things, the Children's Museum, all of this downtown and more.
You don't have to duplicate it. It's already here. It's an amazing thing that has happened. There was 225 or so living units downtown Hammond, and 40 years ago they were empty. There was nothing there. And it's an amazing transformation. Hammond has been recognized as one of the major poster children for downtown Main Street programs in the country. And it is a transformation that is worth some study.
AmWaste is the only full-service garbage disposal company in Tangipahoa Parish, offering from residential pickup to commercial pickup to construction as well as heavy industrial disposal. At AmWaste, we pride ourselves in great service and competitive pricing. So let AmWaste be your waste provider, because at AmWaste, we care about our customers. Call today.